Hey guys, my name is Grant, and I just wanted to make a quick video talking about the #1 tip that you can use to have way higher impact with teamfight spells in Dota. Now I'm going to be specifically talking about Earthshaker and Echo Slam in this video, but the same tip can be applied to anything like Tide Hunter Ravage, Magnus RP, anything like that. The reason I wanted to specifically talk about Earthshaker is it's my most played hero, in my opinion the most fun hero in the game, and probably my best hero. If we look here on my Dota buff page, it says I'm in the 97th percentile for the hero. It used to be in the 99%, but I haven't played the hero as much as I used to, so it's dropped a bit. I just want to show this to show that I do have decent experience with the hero, and I'm not just completely talking out of my ass. In the vast majority of my games on this hero are in the mid-divine to low immortal brackets, so this tip is definitely something that works in all the way up to immortal brackets. Before I actually talk about the tip, I want to talk about a reality of Dota that people don't think about a lot of the times, and that is that in pubs, teamfights are lost far more often than teamfights are won. And by that I mean, in the majority of teamfights, the outcome is going to be determined by who makes mistakes rather than who executes really well. There's obviously exceptions to this rule, and the higher you get up in MMR, the more untrue the statement becomes, and eventually when you get to pro level games, this becomes far more untrue than it is true. But unless you're about top 500 immortal, in the vast majority of your ranked games, teamfights are going to come down to who makes mistakes. Teamfight abilities like Echo Slam really highlight this concept. If I were to go through and look at my top 100 Echo Slams of all time, I'm definitely not going to be looking at my top 100 skillful Echo Slams. I'm going to be looking at the top 100 times where the enemy got too close together and I just capitalized on their mistake. Now don't get the wrong idea, capitalizing on enemy mistakes is actually going to be one of the most consistent ways that you can gain MMR. First thing I want to cover real quick is what I would consider a good Echo Slam or something that we should look out for, and if we see any of these scenarios pop up, we should pretty much just automatically echo it. The first thing is going to be if we see any grouping of 5, 4, or 3 heroes. I'm sure everybody watching would automatically echo any group of 5 or 4 heroes, but 3 is also a spot where if you can lock down 3 heroes for just under 5 seconds, which you get if you echo, enchant, and Fisher, it's just going to be a little bit under 5 seconds. And if you can get that much lockdown on 3 heroes while you have the rest of your team around in like an actual fight scenario and you're not just randomly echoing 3 heroes, but during a fight, if you can echo 3 and keep them locked down for just under 5 seconds, it's going to almost for sure win you a fight if you're at all close to net worth. If you can't find a 3-man Echo Slam, the next best thing you can do is find a 2-man Echo Slam on 2 high priority targets, which are pretty much always going to be like the carry and the mid laner. Maybe there's an off laner that's having a really good game, so you can substitute that in. But these are the 2 scenarios that you're really looking for in pretty much every fight, is if you can get either a 3-man Echo or a 2-man Echo on high priority targets. And then your third option is if the enemy team has some kind of hero that's snowballed really hard, that's very elusive, like a Storm Spirit. Where taking out the Storm Spirit would kind of win you the fight, but hard to do because he's so elusive. If you can find an opening on the Storm Spirit and you're going to have follow-up damage, that's also going to be worth it to commit Echo for. Now let's quickly talk about what we can do to kind of encourage the enemy team to group up and give us these opportunities. So before teamfights happen, enemy teams usually are going to know that they don't want to group up against a hero like Earthshaker or Enigma or Faceless Void, anything like that. So it's going to be somewhat rare that you find an opportunity where there's just 5 heroes kind of all standing together right before a teamfight starts. We're not actually going to be looking for initiation most of the time. If you find an opportunity to start a fight by echoing 3 heroes or 2 higher priority heroes, it's definitely worth doing, but the majority of the time the enemy's not going to give you that chance. And that's because when there's not a lot happening in the game and it's kind of at a slower spot, people are going to be very good at knowing that they should not be grouping up, so people are going to usually stand farther apart. It's going to look something more like this, where people are too far apart, maybe you'll have 2 people near each other, but for the most part, you're not going to be able to find any amazing Echo Slams like this. But here's the thing that we got to keep in mind. When teamfights happen, the game becomes a lot smaller in everybody's mind because you have to be so much more focused and be making so many more quick decisions. Another way that we could think about this is if this is the normal screen and the amount of information that you have in a Dota game, when a teamfight starts, what your brain sees is more like this. A way more zoomed in and focused view of the game, where your focus is really more set on your own hero rather than the game as a whole. And this is something that everybody does. You're not going to be able to have the same broad macro game sense that you do during a fight as you do when you're just sitting in a lane pushing or farming creep waves. This is really what we're looking to take advantage of. So let's say we're looking at this Monkey King's perspective. Even though we're zoomed in, the Earthshaker's still on screen, so everybody's going to have it on their mind that the Earthshaker's still in the game. But what we got to do is look to take advantage of this sort of zoomed-in mentality that people are going to have during fights, and the way that we best abuse that is by just not being in vision. Now, I know this isn't going to be a one-to-one exact thing, but this is a good visualization of how people are going to think during fights. Now, this Monkey King doesn't see the Earthshaker on the map. He's going to be way less focused on not grouping up for Echo Slams. If we were a hero with a teamfight ability and a Blink Dagger, we should be trying to act as small as possible, just try to slip out of everybody on the enemy team's minds. And the best way we can do that is by being in fog, not showing. We need to approach fights, keeping in mind that we want to be out of sight, but as close as possible. Something that I'll do a lot of the time is hover over my blink dagger range and try to make sure that if there's a grouping over here, how close can I get to having this green line right here on the enemies without me showing. So it'd be something like this. So I only have to take about one step before I can blink in and echo this. If you have a little bit of patience and stay in fog during a lot of these fights, you're going to be amazed at how many mistakes that the enemy team's going to make. Now, I'm not saying just sit in fog and just never come out till you see 5 heroes. This is when we go back to what we were talking about before, those kind of acceptable echo slams, like any 3 heroes, 2 higher priority heroes, or 1 very important target. We can just sit in fog as much as we can, stay out of vision, until we see any of those situations that we were talking about before. And then we want to blink in and echo it. I want to go through a clip of a team fight where this tool kind of comes into play. I'm actually stealing this clip from a Purge video because I think this team fight really just goes to show how powerful this can be. This is still me playing the Earthshaker, but the game's from too long ago, so I can't pull the replay anymore. But I'm very thankful that Purge turned this into a YouTube video so that we can watch it now. So to break down what's actually happening at the start of this fight, we have a carry Venomancer here who is getting ganked by the enemy team, and our team is starting to rotate in, and their team is also teleporting more heroes in, so this is going to turn out to be an actual fight. If we go forward a couple seconds, we can see the fight developing, and we actually get to see that I'm down here hanging out. Now at this point in the game, I'm very sure that the enemy team knows that I have a blink dagger, and if I were just to give them 20 seconds to think about it, none of them would group up like they're about to do, but we're going to take advantage of how hectic the fight's going to become and hope that they forget all about us. As you can notice, I am here pretty far away. I'm actually not running up to try to cast a Fissure or just blink in an enchant totem right away, because I know that this fight is about to escalate and I want to make sure that I'm in position to get the best echo possible. So if we continue this clip here, we can see that the enemy team keeps chasing. As you can see, as this Underlord walks up, I'm actually starting to walk away. That's because I don't want him to walk over and see me and then go on high alert again. So I'm making sure that I stay far enough away where his night vision can't see me. And then as soon as he starts walking back in, then I can start also coming in, getting closer and closer. I want to be as close as I possibly can be without being in vision. So as this continues, Pudge gets a hook. I'm now walking behind these trees, completely staying out of vision. It's my #1 priority right now. The fight continues, and we can see all these heroes coming and collapsing right here. The Puck's going to get a Dream Coil, and like I was saying before, when team fights become hectic, this Dream Coil hits, and the Centaur initial thought is to come in and stun here. This Wraith King's going to want to come in and capitalize and do damage also. And at one point, before this fight started, everybody was kind of on the same page not to group up, but now everybody's making individual decisions, and all of those individual decisions are telling people to walk in here, including this Puck. At this point, they're all grouped up, and I'm just going to book it in and find the best echo I can. Now, there was no 5 or 4-man echo here, but getting a 3-man echo, like I said, by default is just going to be something that I look for no matter what, especially when they're mid laners in it. So at this point, with these 3 heroes locked down, this is pretty much a completely one fight already. So I know this is sort of a small thing, but it's extremely big when you think about how useful it is to be able to win pretty much the most crucial points in Dota game. Now, this might only work 1 or twice a game until people really start to catch on, but you're not going to be playing the same people over and over again. This is something that will be able to consistently work in the vast majority of games you play. That's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. Like I said, this does apply to more than just Earthshaker, but Earthshaker is a hero that definitely takes large advantage of this tool. So next time you pick a hero with one of these big teamfight abilities and you get your Blink Dagger, go into the fight focusing on staying out of vision and looking for the prime opportunity to use your spell. Don't show, because if you show on the map, people are going to be way less likely to group up. If you have any thoughts, comments, or questions about anything I covered, leave those down in the comments, and I'd be really happy to read everything and get back to anybody that wants it. And if you're interested in watching any more of my gameplay, I just started streaming on Twitch as well, where every game I play, I kind of talk through my thought process live, so it's sort of more educational. So if that sounds like something that interests you, the first link in the description is going to be to my Twitch, where I'm going to be streaming most days. But besides that, that's all I got. Thanks.